We welcome you back to episode number 2 of Tornado Talk here in the 2025 athletic calendar. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Ryan Wilkes, the voice of the Brevard College Tornadoes, taking you through everything tonight. And glad you could join us. Thank you again for tuning in to football this weekend. That was a lot of fun despite the result as Brevard kicked off its 2025 football season. A couple housekeeping things before we invite a couple guests into the show. First, we want to thank our corporate sponsors. BSN Sports, Hampton by Hilton, Jets Pizza, UNC Health Pardee, Pepsi, Pinnacle Financial Partners, Platt, Subway, and Zaxby's. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Couple more housekeeping things, just some notable results from this past week and a little bit before that. Women's soccer is 2-0, had a record-breaking start to their 2025 season with a 20-0 win at home against Alice Lloyd and a 4-0 win on the road at Eastern Mennonite. We'll talk to women's soccer tonight as we break down those couple matchups. Men's soccer 0-2-1, a 3-0 loss against Berry, a 1-1 tie at Maryville, and a 4-1 loss at Roanoke College. Volleyball tallied its first win of the season against Hollins on Saturday at the Maroon Classic. And cycling, 2 in the top 15 of the dual slalom, Max Canterbury and Eli Houle, 8th and 14th. And the women, Kelly Lawson was 6th and Maddie Pollock 11th. Last thing before we get going tonight, want to tell you about the Athletic Week of Giving. The Athletic Week of Giving is September 10th to 17th. You see that QR code on your screen. That is how you can donate to the Athletic Week of Giving. It's for football, men's soccer, men's basketball, women's basketball, volleyball, cheer, cross country, and cycling. This is the first time we will be doing a competition-driven campaign. Instead of each team having a standalone campaign, the goal for the week is 300 total donors, with each team having an individual goal. Scan the QR code on your screen to donate starting on Wednesday, September 10th through Wednesday, the 17th. Hope to see you guys contribute to these team success as we get going here in 2025. So we're about ready to go here this evening. We'll start with Brevard volleyball. Eric Freed not in here yet, but we do have Izzy Boulay. Izzy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So a busy couple of weeks for you all. It's a young team. You had 4 games each in the past 2 weekends. What was that like for you just as a player to have that experience and be busy in the first couple weeks of the season?
I think it's a lot of adjusting in that first week, but I think it's kind of good to rip the Band-Aid off and just to get a feel of what life as a college athlete is like. Obviously, this is my second year, so I'm a bit used to it, but for a younger team, it's really nice for us to just take that time and use your team and figure out what this looks like, because it definitely is a big adjustment. But it's been really fun so far, and I'm excited to see what comes from the rest of our season.
So as one of the more productive pieces coming back this season, in terms of experience, you're just a sophomore, but have you played a little bit of a leadership role to kind of usher this younger team in?
I am very thankful that I'm one of our captains this year. It is myself, Emma Fontana, Jackson Tamicki, and Kylie Ketcher. So I think we've done really great things so far on really guiding our younger team into success this season. Obviously, we do not have a lot of returners, and especially not a lot of returning upperclassmen. So I think we've done really great things so far. And I also think that our newer players have been really willing to be led, and they've even done some leadership themselves. So it's really great to see everybody come together and fill those roles.
So a weekend for you all where you get on the board with a win over Hollins College, but there was 8 sets decided by 5 points or less. A couple went your way, some others went the other way. What are the keys to close out some of those sets where you're really in the fight up until the end?
A lot of them for us right now is just finding that grit to push through. Sometimes when things get hard, it's really difficult to find the core or just to find that one successful play. Sometimes we talk about this a lot. Some balls just have to go our way, some don't. So unfortunately, I think that was a lot of what happened to us this weekend, but we are very excited to finally push through and get those wins that'll go our way.
So you reached 1,000 career assists over the weekend. In a short time period, a season and just a couple games. It's a feat not many accomplish, and you did it in this short time frame. How exciting is that for you, and what have been the keys to success at this level?
It's been really exciting for me. It was one of my goals. I think I was about 40 away in high school in about 2 years. So I was very eager to reach that goal this year. I'm super happy I was able to do it so quickly. Really, I can't do it without my team. Setters pretty much not anything without hitters. If they couldn't put the ball down, I wouldn't be able to do much. So I'm very thankful for them just to get me to where I am, and even our passers. Just as a team, I really can't do anything without them. So I'm very thankful for them.
So you're all tournament team with 97 assists across those 4 games. What does it mean for your teammates to kind of rely on you to have good passing and set them up at the net?
I think we all we place a lot of focus on relying on each other, and I think that's a great thing because, like I said, I can't get anywhere without them. My hitters can't get there without me. So I think it's really great for our culture to know that we have to rely on each other. Culture is a really big thing for us as a team. So I think it's been really great to know that no matter what, you have people to lean on, and everyone's going to be there for you.
So you talk about the culture you want to bring, and we have a guy that is probably a big part of that culture getting ready to join the show right now. But as a player, how do you play a role in establishing that culture on the floor and off the floor?
It's really just embracing what our values are as a team. We really strive to come in every day and give 100% of what we can. It doesn't have to be your best, but it does have to be everything you can give that day. And off the court, we really strive to represent BC volleyball in our classroom by attending classes, being present, and also just being a really positive impact on our community around us. It's really important for us.
So coming into this first home game of the season, you have a couple this week. What are you guys excited about to kind of manufacture that momentum and the excitement in the gym on Tuesday?
I think we're really excited to be in our home, just be comfortable where we are. I think that'll be really great for us. And I think we're also really excited to just bring in a crowd. I think that'll really help us with our energy and just helping us push through those hard days.
So when you enter the gym and you have that home crowd cheering for you, what does that mean for you as a team, a young team, and you're young freshmen that I get to experience that for the first time?
I think it's a really great thing. It just really automatically gets you super hyped up and so excited to just be a part of a team, whether or not that's on the court, on the bench. It just makes you super excited to be involved. And I think it's also really nice to see all the support that's behind you as a student athlete, all your classmates who are coming to support you, all your professors. I think it's really great to see that community behind you.
So what are some things as a team that you guys want to build on? Maybe not the start that you wanted, but again, you guys were in just about every set and every match that you played so far. So what are some things in practice or even on the court in games that you guys have focused on?
We've really just focused on finishing out our games, and our energy has been a really big thing for us as a focus right now. We want to be able to keep energy the whole game, whether or not things are going our way or if it's going differently. We just want to really push through that. And I think we're very excited to see what we've learned from these first couple of games and how that'll translate to the rest of our season.
So Eric, welcome to the show. Assistant Coach Eric Freed joining us tonight.
Hey,
Eric,
Ryan, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So I was asking Izzy some questions about the team so far this season. What have you as a coach noticed about this team, what they can provide so far this season?
Just throughout all of preseason, throughout all of training camp, just everybody buying into our team culture and really just the positivity on a day-to-day basis, whether it's on the court or off the court. Everybody's always building each other up. And when we're in between those lines, we're pushing each other to get better each and every rep. And we're a young team, so that's the best thing that you can possibly have as far as culture goes from a coaching staff. Just seeing those young players continue to push each other to new heights is going to take our program and elevate it so much. And Izzy is obviously a huge contributing factor to that. She does a great job as a team captain and really leading by example and being a servant leader and making sure that everybody else really follows her example.
So as a coach for you, Izzy reaching that milestone when you all were in Salem this past weekend of 1,000 career assists, how special is that for you as a coach, for someone that has been here as long as she has, to kind of see that growth and that development from her over the past 2 seasons?
I mean, it's crazy because she came in last year as a freshman, and you would have never guessed that she was a freshman based off of what she does on the court. She really has a commanding court presence, and she gets people to obviously terminate balls on offense. She's had over 1,000 in just over a year, over a season, and that's just an incredible milestone, and it's a testament to her. and how hard she works on her connections, but also we got to give some love to our hitters as well. They're the ones putting the ball away, but she obviously does a great job in facilitating that, and I couldn't be more proud to coach her.
So I asked Izzy this question from the perspective on the court, but 8 sets this past weekend decided by 5 points or less. What do you see as a coach that you guys can kind of fix or change down the stretch in some of those sets to be able to pull out some of those tighter sets?
Yeah, I mean, it's so close to clicking. We obviously have a super athletic and talented group. The only thing is we're just lacking veteran experience on all 6 positions on the court. So obviously we're going through a little bit of growing pains and just our entire lineup right now, but we know that that's going to get better with time and reps and connections. But we just got to keep chugging away and doing the work, but we're really, really close. And once we get this thing clicking, watch out for BC volleyball. We'll be a force to be reckoned with for sure.
So it's over now, but these past 2 weekends, you had 4 games in each weekend in 2 days. What kind of challenges did that provide for you as a coach? You and Abby working together to kind of game plan. You didn't really have much time to turn around and focus on another opponent. So what kind of challenges does that provide? And you're not going to face it the rest of the year, but what challenges did that provide for you these last 2 weeks?
Yeah, obviously it's a challenge just because you're going up against blind opponents. Like you don't know exactly what they're going to do. Obviously, because you have seniors graduate out, you have transfers, you have new players coming in, new freshmen that can obviously change a game and the dynamic of the game. So yeah, it's really just once we're there, we try and catch glimpses of what's going on the other court. Sometimes when we'll have a break or we're off, we'll go over and scout the other team the best that we can. But obviously it's still early in the season, so everybody's kind of mixing and mashing lineups. So we're just kind of getting a general idea of what they're going to be like and who their go-tos are and just kind of the general idea of what to expect. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but it's something that Coach Abby and I we're used to at this point, and we've got a great system going.
So to loop Izzy back in here, I kind of want to hear this from both of you all. Kind of a fun question. You got your first home game coming up, and it's on Tuesday, tomorrow, at 6 o'clock. What does your game day look like prior to stepping onto the floor? What is the 3 hours before the game? What does that look like for the both of you to get ready?
For me personally, I think our team likes to be very hype and very energetic. I think I'm sometimes a little bit of the opposite. I kind of like to take my time on my own, make sure I'm really focused for the game. But I do think we as a team place a lot of focus on being super energized, like a super loud music, just getting really hype because that energy really does translate onto the court. So I think we spend a lot of time as athletes. We spend some time individually and then we spend some time preparing as a team. So both of those are really fun to do.
Yeah, and for me, it's pretty much another day in the office. I roll in about 10 o'clock. I go in and get the jerseys all set up and lay them out in the lockers for everybody. And then I get to my office and I just do any last minute tweaks to our scout or anything that I might have missed earlier, just watching film. But yeah, just double checking everything, making sure that all of my I's are dotted, all my T's are crossed, making sure that we're in the best position to be successful on game day. And then obviously 2 hours prior to game, we roll in and that's when our true pregame starts. So yeah.
So Izzy, you talk about the energy on the court. I saw it walking in the blue versus white scrimmage. It was very loud, but in a great way. You guys were very excited about being out there, obviously. What does energy do for you as a player? How does that, whether it be on the bench or on the floor, how powerful is that to keep you guys going in some of these tight games?
It just really helps us keep our game moving. I know our coaches talk a lot. Volleyball is a huge game of momentum. So having that energy behind you and that momentum really pushing you forward through great plays, through harder plays, it's just really great, whether you're on the bench or on the court, to know that that energy is behind you and helping you push along and create momentum so that we can win some games.
All right. You want anything else to add before I send you on your way?
I don't think so.
Definitely come out and support us tomorrow night at the Bosch, 6 o'clock. We love a loud crowd and we just feed off of it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to see a lot of cool things. So definitely check us out tomorrow night.
First event at the Bosch for 2025. Brevard College Volleyball takes on Bob Jones. at 6 o'clock. Come on out to support. Guys, thank you so much for spending a few minutes here tonight, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Ryan.
All right, have a good night. All right, we'll move on with our next guest. It's assistant coach Juan Mascaro Jr., the women's soccer team. We'll welcome him into the show. JJ, how you doing tonight?
Hi, Ryan. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. So obviously, pretty great start for you all this season. You break some records in your home opener against Alice Lloyd with a 20-0 win, and then a wire-to-wire 4-0 win on the road against Eastern Mennonite. Big picture, we'll get into some of the specifics as we go throughout this show. But what have you liked on the field that's led to some success?
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed the level, of competitiveness that the team is bringing. We had we had a lot of returners, which is really helpful. So they're really familiar with the style of play and the principles that we've been talking about. So we had kind of that momentum going, and then we have a group of exciting young players that have, added their quality and depth to the group. So we have a big pool to pull from, and we're trying to use that, trying to maximize that to be as competitive as we can and win as many games as we can.
So you're out shooting opponents 94-7. That's a pretty staggering number there. 76 of those shots came against Alice Lloyd in the home opener. But what has your team done so well to create that pressure in the defensive third and create opportunities at the net?
Yeah, I think I think a lot of it is the work that they put in the off season. So it shows that they were on top of their off season training, and that they stayed in shape, and that they did things on their in their own time when nobody's watching. And then here in training, we talk a lot about pressing, the build up. A lot of teams like to build up, like when the opponent has when the opponent goalkeeper has the ball. A lot of teams like to kind of play short. So we've worked a lot on how are we going to press that and win the ball back up the pitch as high as we can, so that we can go forward as quickly as possible and get a shot off and hopefully a goal scoring opportunity. So we've worked a lot on that, and it shows. I think that those statistics speak for the work that we've been putting on the training field, and hopefully we can see more games where we're outscoring and outshooting opponents.
So with this team, you mentioned all the returners that come back this year. How much does that help as a coach to have players return who you don't have to convince to buy in? They're already bought in. I mean, going 15-0 last year, how could you not be bought in after that?
Right.
What does it mean for you as a coach to already have that buy-in established to move forward this season?
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely makes the experience more enjoyable. It's you don't have to stop. You don't have to start from scratch, which is good. You can kind of just build off of last year. It's at a point where the sessions are very smooth. They kind of run themselves. What I think I enjoy the most is like the older players can take the younger players under their wings and kind of show them, hey, this is what we're about at Brevard. This is kind of how we do things here, and we've gotten results from it. And so they've helped the new players adapt and kind of buy into our values and our principles, and they've helped them adapt to the new environment. And then we go out and we just try to put the team that's the most competitive that we can.
So you got to think preparing for Brevard is a tough challenge, especially just looking at the stats throughout the first couple games. 4 players with 4 goals or more, or 4 goals
Right.
Exactly. What does that mean for you? How easy does it make your game plan to know that really anybody offensively could do anything at any given moment?
Yeah, it's by design. I think that's one of the things that we talked a lot about with Juan Senior when I came on board. Is our goal was to build a team that nobody wanted to face, and one of the components of that is having multiple players that can contribute to the goal scoring. A lot of the teams that you see out there, they have maybe 1 or 2 players that kind of carry the goal scoring load. And what we wanted, 5 or 6 or 7, 8 players that could contribute to the goal scoring load, because there's players hit strides where they're scoring a lot, and then they kind of have dips in form as the season goes throughout. So it's good that we have players that can kind of share the load, and it makes it hard on opponents to prepare, because they don't have, instead of worrying about one or two players, now they have to worry about, 5 or 6. And we can, use that to our advantage to be, like I said, to be competitive and win some of these games and outshoot opponents and score a lot of goals, which is the most exciting part about soccer. So it's definitely something that we've been purposeful in terms of the recruiting and building the squad. And it's definitely a headache that we welcome the other, that we'd like to throw at the other coaches, because it makes it difficult for them to prepare to play us.
So flipping the defensive side, you only allowed 7 shots, and more importantly, only 2 real quality opportunities, only 2 shots on goal against Eastern Mennonite this weekend. What have you liked defensively to complement this explosive offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the defensive side of things. They're very disciplined. You have to be, because you have to be in the right spot at the right time. And sometimes you're not going to get a lot of the ball. Sometimes a lot of the work that those players do is without the ball, which doesn't get as much attention as when you have the ball. So I've loved the discipline and just the willingness to do their role to the maximum effort, and the willingness to put in a tackle, do the running. Just do whatever that they can to prevent those goal scoring opportunities for the opponent. And I think that takes a lot of discipline and hard work. So I've loved those 2 things that I'm seeing from our defenders right now.
So the game against Alice Lloyd is kind of hard, I'm assuming, as a coach, to take away too much from a game like that, because obviously you all overmatched them. But what were some things you took away, maybe with some of your younger talent, that gave you some eyes on some younger players?
Yeah, it was an opportunity to give everybody a chance to showcase what they can do. I think the thing that we were the most pleased with that game is that everybody stuck to the game plan. Everybody that went in, you could tell that we had an idea of how to play, and everybody was on the same page, and there was a distinct style, right? Their movements had purpose, their passes have purpose. They weren't just kicking it for the sake of kicking it. There was a lot of movement off the ball to open up space for teammates. So it was good to see that the ideas and the principles and the things that we've been talking about in practice and in the meetings and things like that, that they could execute. Now the challenge is, as the schedule gets more competitive, can we continue to play that style of soccer with players that are a little bit more competitive, but also when you have less time and space on the ball. So can we continue on the path forward? But with the obstacles and the challenges just becoming a little bit harder, because as we progress, the teams are going to get more challenging, and they're going to get more competitive, especially like when we get to the conference games. Those results are very heavy, and both teams want to win. And sometimes what teams lack in skill, they make up for in I say conviction, right? They make up for in conviction, the willingness to win 50-50 balls, to run, to put in tackles, to make it uncomfortable for us. So can we still, play the style of soccer that we want to play, which has been effective, when other teams are trying to make it difficult for us? But it was a good game like I said, it was a good game to give everybody a chance to showcase what they can do. It was a good game for us to learn more about our team. And then, the EMU game as well. It was good to see how the team reacted when the opponent made it difficult for us to play, because even though we won 4-0, it was a hard game. I mean, they didn't make it easier for us. They didn't just roll over. It wasn't, one of those things where we just show up and we just win the game. We had to work for it. And I was really pleased that even though they made it difficult and they made it hard for us to, gain momentum and play the way we like to play, we were still able to score goals and get the job done.
So just a spectator watching the first home game, every sub you made, everybody that came onto the field, nobody looked out of place. It looked like you were, subbing in, just platoon subbing in another unit that, the production was here. It's not going to go way down here. How important is that? Like you mentioned, the conference season, when those results matter so much, how important is it to have that second unit potentially that you can trust to come in and contribute?
I think it's crucial for sure. I mean, I think it's crucial. I think against Alice Lloyd, we used the whole squad. Against EMU, we used 25 players out of the 30-ish that traveled. So it's good to have the depth on the bench. And like you said, not just the depth, because it's easy just to have bodies, on the bench, but the quality as well. So when we make changes, the level stays the same. And I think that's a competitive advantage that we have that we can use, especially as you get later on in the season, kind of October, when the legs start getting heavy. It'll be good to have the depth in the squad to keep some players fresh and to still remain competitive. So it's definitely something that we're very thankful that we have.
So soccer, with these long stretches where you might not get a breath, you might not get to take a deep breath during these games. How important is a home crowd like you had game one to kind of keep the momentum going and keep this team fueled up?
Yeah, I mean, they call it the 12th man for a reason, right? Sometimes playing at home, there's definitely a bit of an advantage, because when you have your fans cheering for you, in addition to your teammates on the bench, it gives you that little extra boost to get through those stretches where you don't have the ball, where you have to, those stretches where it gets hard when you're just running and you're defending, and you're trying to prevent the other team from scoring, especially when you get winded, right? So no, it's definitely preferable for us to be at home, and it's very helpful to have a good supporter section, cheering us on, because it does give the team that extra boost that they need when we're facing difficult moments during the game.
So one of your busier stretches of the season coming up, 3 games in 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
What are the keys to keep that momentum up and also just stay healthy throughout this week and into next?
Yeah, I think just, staying focused, just keep doing what we're doing in training, working hard, and then just taking it day by day, so we'll prepare for Piedmont. Tomorrow we'll go over final details to prepare for them. Then we'll face Piedmont, and then after the Piedmont game, we'll kind of see what direction we want to move in. Just to be fair, it's good to have a long-term vision, but once you're in the thick of it, it's more of a day-by-day thing. But the most important thing is that we stay disciplined, so that we keep working hard, and that we just give our maximum effort every day that we're out training, or whatever it is that we're doing as a team.
All right, Junior, anything else you want to add before I send you on your way tonight?
No, thank you so much. I appreciate you bringing me on, and we'll be at home Wednesday, 7 p.m. So please come out and support us, and it'll be a good match. Piedmont is a competitive team, and I think it'll be an exciting game.
Yeah, Piedmont on Wednesday at 7, then you get Averett at home on Saturday, September 13th at 4:30. Juan, thanks for joining me, and good luck tomorrow and this weekend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Have a good night. All right, that is assistant women's soccer coach Juan Mascaro Jr. after the 2-0 start for the Brevard women's soccer team. What a start it's been for them as they continue on throughout this season. Now, 2 new guests. We have 2 coming in, 2 cyclists from the Brevard cycling team, Maddie Pollock and Max Canterbury. Hey, guys, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
Good. Thanks for coming on this evening. A successful weekend for the both of you. Max, an 8th place finish in the dual slalom, and Maddie, an 11th place finish for you. How did that race go, and what are you looking forward to improving as you move throughout the season?
I'm really looking forward to just improving on what I've built and kind of just taking the next step in my career.
Yeah, I'm coming off an injury, so it was kind of a win just to be on the start line for dual slalom. The XC events were a little bit easier on my shoulder, and downhill was okay as well, but just kind of trying to build up that confidence again to be riding bikes fast. So,
Maddie, for you coming off injury, not only to be up there, but to have good finishes this weekend, how does that kind of propel you and, like you said, give you that confidence to get back out there?
Yeah, it's definitely gratifying to see that kind of hard work paying off. It's been like 3 months of rehabbing a shoulder injury. And I'm not quite where I want to be yet, but that confidence is definitely coming back that, we've been doing the work, and yeah, it's I'm excited for the next couple weekends to keep working on it.
It was about as close to home as a race that you can get at Ride Rock Creek in Zirconia. Was this a course that you all were familiar with prior to this race? And if so, describe to the viewers what kind of advantage that might have given you over some others that were competing?
So we helped build some of the courses, which was pretty cool. We were out there, digging some lines, kind of blowing leaves off some courses. And that definitely helped us just kind of get some lines beforehand, get a first look at the track before any of the other schools did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that locals knowledge definitely helps. It was really cool to get out there and help build the trails, like Maddie said. But yeah.
Nice. So, as somebody that is not overly, admittedly, familiar with cycling, take me through maybe the week before a race. What does that look like day after day to get prepared for a sport that's likely pretty hard on your body?
Yeah, so training varies a little bit by discipline. I race kind of all events, so cross country, short track, downhill, dual slalom. Max is more on the gravity events. So for me, that looks like a lot of kind of like endurance rides, so 2 to 3 hour rides, maybe some preparation intervals, maybe a day in the gym or a run. Definitely like a little bit lighter weightlifting leading up to a race. And then you definitely want to be sleeping and eating well and drinking lots of water. And then for gravity.
Yeah, for gravity, it's more strength focused and then skills. So I'll be out on the bike practicing like certain sections of a trail just to really dial in everything and make sure it's absolutely perfect before I go out and race.
So being in this area, being in Brevard, it's obviously very outdoorsy, a lot of trails, a very nature-heavy area. How does that help you all as cyclists, maybe even outside of the sport, just to enjoy the nature around here and also get prepared for your races?
Yeah, it's a really great place to train. Like there's really diverse trail options. So if you want to go do like a really kind of like pedally ride, that's an option. If you want to go ride some hard technical trails, you can do that too. Often you can do both of those things on the same ride. And then we'll often do like team hikes. We'll do some team kind of like camping, that sort of thing, just to get out in the woods. And I don't know, I love this area. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous here. And it's great to have that that like nature getaway to kind of stop thinking about school and racing for a bit and just go out and have some time to yourself, you know?
Oh, I think you're muted.
Thank you. For me and the viewers included, talk to them a little bit about who you guys are. Who are you outside of cycling, and what do you do on a daily basis?
Yeah, so I'm an English and communications major, and I'm from North Vancouver, BC, so I'm Canadian from the West Coast. And as an English and comm major, I'm really into like reading and writing. I love a good hammock session in the woods with a book. That's got to be one of my favorite kind of like relaxing activities. And I also love spending time with my dogs. So, you know, they're not here, which is a little bit sad, but they're maybe watching at home.
Yeah, and then for me, I'm an environmental studies major, so really just anything outdoors, it makes me happy. I'm a big fly fisherman outside of cycling. That's one of the bigger things that I do to just kind of take my mind away from cycling, because it can kind of be a lot sometimes with all the stress.
So on race day, do you have any pre-race superstitions, anything you do every time before you hop on the bike, or is it just go with the flow every time, day in and day out?
For a while there, I was really into eating sweet potatoes on race day. I'm not sure if my teammates loved that one. It was usually like a cold baked sweet potato because it's a really good like mix of carbs and sugar. I'm trying to move away from that a little bit, trying some other pathways, but there was like a year there where I think I had that every morning on race day.
Yeah, and then for me, I kind of go more towards like I don't know how to word it. I have an exact playlist that I listen to before every run, and I go through my warm up, and it's the exact same every single time.
So I'm curious, from a coaching standpoint, when Coach Purley is out there, what is his coaching style like when you all are on the trail? I mean, I can't imagine you see him incredibly often during a race, but how does he kind of coach while you're on the bike during these races?
Brad's a really relaxed coach, which I really like. He'll often pick like a kind of key point on the course where maybe he can see us more than once, because sometimes the courses will kind of like they'll intersect each other, and sometimes he'll yell splits, like how far back you are or ahead of another rider. Oftentimes, though, it's just like words of encouragement. He'll kind of let you just do your own race. And then he's always there at the finish line with a fist bump and a congratulations. Like he's definitely just more into hearing how you did versus like placement wise. Like he just wants you to feel like you had a good race.
Yeah, so you look forward to Nationals. You got a couple races left, but Nationals in the beginning of October. You want to keep the main thing here and look ahead to these races that you got coming up, but how are you going to use these races to kind of help you get ready for Nationals?
So to get ready for Nationals, it's really just inside of collegiate racing, it's a bit different than what we do outside of the school. So just getting used to that type of racing again, and then really just mentally preparing myself for the elevation that we're gonna have to deal with.
Yeah, elevation's a big one. I'm not sure what it is in feet, but I think we're gonna be probably close to 10,000 feet for Nationals. Does that sound right? Which is a big change from here. I know some people may even be preparing with like altitude tents on the endurance side, or heat training in saunas can also kind of benefit you at altitude as well. But also just definitely working on that endurance. I've heard the downhill course is a longer course. So I know even for me kind of racing across all events, I'll definitely be trying to practice doing some like 4 or 5 minute downhill segments just to work on that kind of sprinting endurance to prepare for that.
So last thing, the day before a race, do you all get to that course early? Do you get a practice run, or how does that work the day before a race?
It varies. Sometimes we're on a tighter schedule and we aren't able to, but we usually try to get there early enough to get a lap or two in. For Nationals, we'll be there like 3 or 4 days in advance. So we should have plenty of time to run those courses. But for conference races, it's usually like we're rolling out Friday afternoon and you'll have a chance to maybe look at one course that evening, and then you should have time kind of between races on Saturday and Sunday.
So last thing, do you guys have anything else to add before I send you on your way this evening?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I just want to shout out Coach Brad.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Brad. You moved mountains for us, literally. So, yeah, thanks, Brad.
Well, thank you all for giving me an inside look on cycling. It is new to me, so I'm looking forward to learning more about it in my time here at Brevard. But you all were great. Thank you so much, and good luck the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you.
Good night. All right, we have a few minutes before our next guest joins. Bill Kaya is on his way, so I'll take a second to remind you about the Athletic Week of Giving going on September 10th through 17th for football, men's soccer, men's basketball, women's basketball, volleyball, cheer, cross country, and cycling. It's the first time we will be doing a competition-driven campaign instead of each team having a standalone campaign. The goal for the week is 300 total donors, but each team will have an individual goal. Scan that QR code on your screen to donate. We are starting this Wednesday, September the 10th through September the 17th. I'll remind you one more time of some results here recently. Again, women's soccer is 2-0, a 20-0 win over Alice Lloyd, and a 4-0 win at Eastern Mennonite to start the season 2-0. Men's soccer 0-2-1, did have the draw at Maryville. That was a good result for the men's soccer team. And volleyball, first win of the season, 3-1 set win over Hollins on Saturday at the Maroon Classic. And cycling, just talked to two of them. Max Canterbury, 8th in the dual slalom. Eli Houle, 14th. And on the women's side, Kelly Lawson, the 6th place finish. And Maddie Pollock in 11th. We've got a few more minutes here before Bill Kaya joins us. The football team did fall 41-20 this past weekend. But thank you all if you joined to listen to that game. I do appreciate it as Brevard looks to get back on the right foot at Sewanee this upcoming weekend. Ethan Beamish did throw 3 touchdown passes. It was Brevard that took that 20-0 lead as Bill Kaya getting ready to join the show. We have him here ready to go. Coach Kaya, how you doing tonight?
Excellent. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. So obviously not the conversation we necessarily wanted to have after week one. Quite a wacky game, really, where you throw the first 3 punches, but you were held scoreless the rest of the contest in the 41-20 loss. Starting with the positives, what did you see on those first 3 drives that impressed you with this offense?
Well, after a long stretch of training camp and preparation for the first time to be actually able to tee it up live against a foreign opponent, we started out just the way we wanted to. The energy was high. The effort level was through the roof. And we benefited very well from great field position. So when you have the field position that we were able to start off with offensively, you have to be able to put the ball in the end zone, which is what we did. And I was proud of that. And, we had some players that in the past had limited roles on our roster offensively. We had some guys that had been playing with the futures last year, so we didn't know how they would respond in their first attempt at an Elders game. And in those first 3 series, they really turned it loose, and it was quite impressive.
So we talked about the preparation for a team like Kentucky Christian that had little to no film this season. What challenges did the Knights pose, especially at quarterback Jackson Wasik, and how does facing a guy like that prepare you better for a mobile quarterback later in the season?
Right. So, when you open up with an NAIA program, the first issue you run into is that the length of time that they have to prepare during the off season. Obviously, different rules in Division III, where I'm extremely limited with only the 16 spring practices and then only that handful of days once you get into August leading into your first contest. So they'll have a lot more practices under their belt. That would be one. And then they also play what would be for us a week 0 game, meaning they get to play a game 1 week prior than we get to do. So that gets all of those jitters out. They get to get a gauge on their players and know how they perform and what they need to do to make any kind of tweaks and adjustments with their own roster before ever putting that out on display for a second time, which would be against us. So, and then to top all of that off, of course, they have what's called athletic aid, meaning they can get players to come to their school by enticing them with money and say, hey, you're a great football player. So on top of any kind of academic aid you may get, we're going to give you some athletic aid. And now you have kids going to school for free. So a lot of challenges in there, but that's the type of units we like to go against during our non-conference play, because that's what helps us be so successful during our time in the USA South, is that we're seeing formidable opponents. We're seeing size, we're seeing speed, we're seeing all kinds of different things that would then help us tremendously when it comes to being within the conference. And hopefully for our guys at that point, the game will slow down a little bit, and it won't be what we saw with Kentucky Christian, where you can't simulate a quarterback that's elusive and can extend the play for that long. And I told the guys even after the game, that's hard as a defensive back to cover somebody. Even when I was a child and we played Nerf football in my backyard, we counted to 10 Mississippi. That's 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. And you couldn't rush the quarterback for 10 seconds. And this is 13, 14 seconds of guys running around. So that'd be very difficult for those guys to be able to do that. But it was a good learning experience for our defense to understand about pushing a pocket is great. But if you don't have the contain on the outside and you allow that quarterback that kind of time, eventually, no matter how many zones you try to cover with your defenders, somebody's going to find an open spot. And yes, once we start talking about the upcoming opponent, Swanee, we will talk about a mobile quarterback.
So I want to go back to what you were saying about field position. One of them was a snap over the punter's head, but really all day long on the kick return game, I don't know that we'll see 2 quicker returners on the field at once in Reggie Taylor and Jeremiah Lane. What do you like about that group back there fielding the kickoffs and likely going to give you guys some good field position throughout the year?
Yeah, what I really like, we started with Coach Matt Helton. He's our special teams coordinator. And, just from doing some study, obviously very limited with film, but other research that you can do to find ways to understand the upcoming opponent. We saw what was going on with some of the shorter kickoffs that they were trying to use to help their coverage team. So we actually had basically 5 returners back there that included Jeremiah Lane and Reggie Taylor. So there was really nowhere to go with their little bloop kicks or their sky kicks, and it afforded us the opportunity to get these big returns. But straight line speed, Reggie Taylor is one of the fastest I've ever seen, and that's what allows him the the opportunities to get big plays is his straight line speed. And of course, I mean, he's very well represented on, I think, on our track team here as well. Jeremiah Lane is more of the elusive type. So he's more of the shifty, shaky, juke. Can't really get a hand on him, kind of slippery, but then can still be explosive in those short windows. And then, of course, that's what allowed that big return to open the game.
So on their defensive side of the ball, talking about your offensive line, it's two pretty big linebackers coming at you up front with Richard Webster and Chase Kane. What does that give in terms of adversity for your offensive line? We talked about the freshman center. In terms of learning experience, what do you think they picked up facing two really big linebackers coming at them all day?
Right. So the one thing that I can't do is make time go faster, meaning I can't allow my offensive line to have already played 8 games. And that's what they really need. They just need to be able to play the game, because you can only get so many repetitions in practice, and you have to practice the things that you know you're going to see. And you can't spend a ton of time on things that you might see. Now, I'm not saying chasing ghosts, but I mean, they could do this and they could do that. They could have this adjustment. And when you're an experienced player, you've seen enough to know, okay, this is a little odd. This is not something that I saw this week, but I recall this and I know how to make this adjustment on the fly. Now, remember, this is all within a 3-second span that you see a change and the ball gets snapped and you got to do something. So this is not a long drawn out period of time to be able to think about these things. But once you've seen these things over time, then your brain allows you to react quickly enough to something different, something that wasn't drawn on a card, something that wasn't drawn in the paperwork for your game plan. These are situations that arise within a game, and you got to know how to respond. So unfortunately, our center was playing high school football last year. So, it's going to take him some time to see some odd situations. And, you have to give credit to Kentucky Christian, because there were several times where we made the error and they took advantage of it, because you can also make errors and get away with it and nobody knows. The coaches know, but nobody in the stands know. The scoreboard doesn't know. Nobody knows. But there's other times where you do make errors and you get exposed. And Kentucky Christian, that's what they did defensively, really in that second half, or mainly after the lightning delay. They really took advantage of some of the errors. And again, these aren't massive things that we have no shot at changing, and there's no way we're ever going to be able to overcome all of these issues that we have. No, they're actually very, very simple. It's just a matter of repetition, seeing more, playing games. And that's why we're grateful that our first 3 games are out of conference games, all in preparation for what we need to see in the USA South.
So you can't really talk about this game without talking about the weather delay. About a 3-hour lightning delay. We were almost about to sleep on this thing and open it back up on Sunday. Kentucky Christian came out and took advantage of that. But what does a situation like what occurred on Saturday teach your team about overcoming adversity, even things that you wouldn't even think of happening when you go out on the field?
Yeah, well, the big thing is to be able to keep their minds on football. So what happens when you have these lightning delays is there's a 30-minute shutdown right there. You have 30 minutes to sit. Okay, am I coming back out in 30 minutes? No, we just had another strike. Now it resets another 30 minutes. So I don't know how many times I had to go into the locker room and say a different time. Okay, hey, we're 4:02, 4:07, 4:17. I mean, I just kept having to go in each time we get a strike. And, for these guys, it's a different setting. You're at home, you're in your own locker room. You got some other things around that you can do. You're trying to keep the guys focused and ready, but at the same time, you almost feel like you're lying to the kids. Like, hey, get ready, guys. We're going to go back out right now. And then you got to come in and tell them, okay, hey, hang on. So, the up and down of it, while the visiting team would be, we have nothing else to do. We're just sitting in this box here that's not ours. It's a visitor's locker room and talking about ball. So it's just really trying to keep the guys prepared in the event that we do go out. It's just once that length of time gets longer and longer and longer, it's more of these guys trying to settle down. So you try to come up with creative ways to keep them loose and keep them focused on the task at hand, with obviously the possibility that there would be no game, a game on another day, or the game resuming that afternoon.
So it was my first time experiencing this, but walking in on game day, this is definitely an event. You feel the buzz. The buzz is palpable on campus. When you get closer to the stadium, you hear the drum line. You know, we're ready to play football was the vibe I got when we walked in there. How does that environment and the fans there help your team, and how will they continue to help your team as we move forward this season?
Right. The players that I have on this roster, they really get uplifted by the energy that they feel when they walk out. So it's no different than when you walk into a restaurant, you're like, I don't know, it seems kind of flat in here. You haven't even tried the food. You don't even know if the food's any good. You just don't like the atmosphere, or you just don't really like the vibe, and you just walk out. And so you can sense energy. People can sense that. So when our players walk out and they hear that drum line, heck, they hear that drum line practicing. All right. In the late afternoons when we're doing walkthroughs and walking to meetings, and your palms are already sweating and your heart rate's getting up, and it's Thursday and the game isn't until Saturday. So you can only imagine on game day, once those guys have their pads on, their game pants, their jersey, cleats are laced up nice and tight, and they're ready to go out there and play. And they hear that, just the juice that it brings. That's the word we use in football. I'm sure other sports use that as well. But for us, it's like the juice. Like, you're just so excited to get out there, eager to get on the field and make a play. And then, you see the crowd filing in, and we got all kinds of different themes that the admin team is always setting up for us. So I got bouncy houses going and slushy machines, all kinds of stuff. And I mean, the atmosphere is a true football atmosphere. It's Saturday afternoon in the South, and it's football. And, we just playing mountain football, and it's exciting. And, the kids really take to it. And the atmosphere is important for them because as much as you try to motivate yourself, I've been a part of things. Heck, I played in a thing called NFL Europe. We played in a stadium that held 120,000 people. And if only 20,000 people are in that 120, it's crickets out there. It's quiet. You got to mask all the seats with advertisements and stuff like that. And it's just the energy's missing. You're missing something there. So when those stands are packed, people standing along the fence, people under tents in the end zone, it really, really drives these kids to do well and succeed and try to put out a product that they're proud of. And when it's over, they can go hug their families and friends and say, wow, that was an enjoyable time.
So what's been the response in the past couple of days from some of your leaders, or maybe some others that are coming on as leaders this season? What's been the response from your group in terms of having a quick turnaround, get ready for this next week?
Right. Well, the first thing you have to do is evaluate your performance. You have to do that. You can't just say, well, we lost and we got to move on. There's got to be some value to that. If you're going to lose a game, there has to be value in that loss. So the first thing that everyone wanted to do was watch the film. Like, what did happen? Because it's very rare that in all three phases you perform poorly overall. Now, that doesn't mean there weren't some exciting moments, individual moments or team moments within those phases. But typically you would say, oh, hey, the offense didn't do that well. Oh, but the defense and special teams picked us up. Or, hey, the special teams really carried us this game. Something. Oh, the defense, really helped. Something. But not all three. So that's highly unusual to see that take place. So these guys wanted to see what truly happened. And from the film evaluation, they do see that we're not that far off. As wild as it sounds, and hey, it was 41-20, 3 touchdown loss. When you truly evaluate the film and you go piece by piece, okay, this was a negative play. Let's see what happened on this play. Was it the opponent scheme that we couldn't figure out? Was it the opponents, that these great athletes that we just can't compete with? Or on this particular play, was our player supposed to step to the left and inexplicably they step to the right, which then causes a disaster? So oftentimes that was the case where we just made a small error, but it turned into a major catastrophe on the football field because the opponent was able to expose that error. So if we can clean that up, and that's why I had talked to the team previously about faceless opponent. They say, well, who's next for an opponent? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? It's Brevard College. We play Brevard College next week. We play Brevard College the week after that, and the week after that, and the week after that. Because if we can do the things correctly, right? And we're not asking people to manhandle, maul, do all these wild things, extraordinary things, be Superman and all that other stuff. Just do what you're asked to do. And if these guys can do those tasks, then their athletic ability will then take over, because I know that the talent on our roster is absolutely stacked. I mean, I've been here for 9 seasons. I know what I have. I know what I've had in the past when we've won titles and championships and diamond rings, all kinds of stuff. And we're loaded. We really are. So now we just got to make sure that they're all in sync. They're all going in the same direction. They all understand their role. They're doing what we ask, because I'll never question these guys' effort and heart and desire. And, a lot of the intangibles that you need to win, we have those. It's the things that most people would think are more simple to do. People that may not even understand football, if they just look in a book and say, oh, well, I'm supposed to stand back there on this play or run over there on this play. Okay, I go over there. Now, are they physically capable of doing that? No, probably not. That's why they're not college football players. That's what separates the college football player from others. But it's the knowing what to do. And, all of these coaches, it's their responsibility to get the players to know the game plan, so they will step the right way, so they will stand in the right spot. And when we have new coaches and we have a new system defensively, it's going to take a little time to understand how each of our players learns. Because even though you're addressing a large group at once, you still have to touch each one on an individual basis. So we have guys that learn by seeing a PowerPoint presentation. Some guys learn by film. Some guys learn by a piece of paper on a game plan. Some guys need to go out and walk through it. Some guys need to practice it. Some guys need to practice it, screw it up, get yelled at, and then watch it again on the film. Some guys need to play in the game and experience, and then they finally go, well, I got it. So that's a lot of different systems and methods of learning right there, yet you're addressing one group saying, hey, on this play, everybody go over there. So it's just going to take some time. So I'm not concerned. The staff's not concerned, because we have the right people. We have great, great kids, wonderful people. And they're all willing and eager to be great. So we'll get there. It just was frustrating. And that season opener was, so much excitement about it and the long wait. Everybody wants to come out and see a victory, and I totally understand that. And of course, we were disappointed that, we let NATO Nation of the Faithful down, but that's not going to be a trend for the season.
So lastly, we'll leave it off with this. You talk about the positives. There were a lot. I mean, those first 3 drives looked really good. And even from that point on, you still saw some stuff. One of the biggest things that I saw just calling the game, it's not a given that you get pass catching abilities from running backs. You have 2 running backs that you use, both carrying the ball and out of the backfield, catching. Zion Fontenot-McDaniel had a touchdown. One of the better, negative plays that I saw, but still pretty much a positive, when Jaden Deaton got out of a 8-yard loss and got back to the line of scrimmage. What do you like about your running backs' abilities to not only catch the football, but be dual threats in the backfield?
Yeah, well, with that kind of versatility, you can do a lot. So think about a team trying to defend that. When you see certain personnel going in the game, so you're a defensive coach and you watch who runs in the game for the opposing team's offense, you kind of have a beat on what they're going to do based on who goes in. Well, for us, what are we going to do? You say dual threat, but don't forget about it's really a triple threat, because those guys can also pass protect. So that would mean they stay in the backfield and protect the quarterback from being hit. And they're both very sound at that. Their athletic ability, have good hands. Oftentimes you'll see a running back that goes out and they have speed. So sure, they can run and they can be elusive, but the ball comes and they may as well have butter on their hands, because that ball goes right through there. So they have great concentration on the ball, wonderful hands, and they also understand the offense. So to know why you're doing the things you're doing is really important, rather than just being tunnel vision going, okay, I'm told to just go here, I'm going to go here, and that's all I know. They understand why they're going there based on what the other people on the field are doing. And that really helps them create space for themselves, whether that's space in passing game when they're trying to receive the football, or when they're running the ball and understanding where everybody's going. So an example like Deaton, if he's trying to get out of something, where can I go where I know I'll be shielded by other blockers to try and get something going? But, because you are new to this team and some of the guys that we have just wait as the season goes on, you're going to say, wow, that was quite impressive. And I promise these guys won't let you down.
Well, Coach, we could talk all night, but that's about all the time that we have tonight. Thank you for hopping on a little bit, and good luck against Sewanee.
Okay, I appreciate it. I love your hat.
Thank you. All right, well, that's just about going to do it tonight. Busy week here in Brevard. We have 2 volleyball games tomorrow and Saturday, or Friday, excuse me. And then soccer on Wednesday and Saturday. The women play, and the men also play on Saturday against Center. So a busy weekend here, and a week, honestly. So come on out and support the Tornadoes this week. Volleyball opens the doors to the Bosch at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. So come on out, enjoy some volleyball, and enjoy all of this week's action. Again, thank you all for joining me tonight. It's been a ton of fun. Second episode of Tornado Talk. We will do these every Monday, same time, same place. So thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the likes. And thanks for tuning in tonight. Ryan Wilkes signing off. We'll talk to you next time here on Tornado Talk.